This is probably the safest reactor in this whole mod pack. As far as I know, this cannot blow up. So, I got some bad news just to start up with. First of all, hi, welcome back to Oceanblock. Secondly, so I was trying to make that battery as I promised at the end of last video, and I did do it. It's right over there. Behold, it is beautiful. What we have here is called the Draconic Energy Core. I found out that I was actually able to make the second tier of this because you can make multiple tiers of it. It is 8 blocks high and 7 blocks out for these things, and it is absorbing all the energy, and I made another thing. Now, why am I explaining this rather than building it for you all? Well, I did build it, and my audio wasn't recording.
But wait, we must see how it was built. Let's see the footage sped up so we know how it was done. Perfect.
So yeah, no, we got all of this working. I had basically established that the energy source that I have right now, which is the ethylene generator, it's kind of starting to run a little bit behind, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make those batteries in general, was so that way I could get more energy output for what I'm worth. And as you can see, I ended up making a secondary one. But my biggest problem is that I kind of need another energy source because it is beginning to run behind, and the power pots are starting to demand more energy. So the plan I came up with was to try and start getting the POWAH mod nitro reactor. I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it today, but I'm at least going to start trying to work for it. Of course, now that we have a lot of empty space in the video, I might just be able to make it today.
He's an angry elf.
I guess this might have worked out, but yeah. Here's the energy core. I'll dive more into it another time. I can upgrade this thing about 8 times, so once I reach the 8th form, it's gonna be pretty sick. This thing uses OP, which is kind of like FE. It seems to be it's about the same, so yeah, that's gonna be fun. Hope you all enjoy this. Either way, though, we're going to make a POWAH mod reactor, which I haven't done since Stoneblock. So what I've already done is I've already made the energizing orb, which just took a bunch of the dielectric stuff. It's all fairly simple recipes. So now we've got ourselves the orb. But in order to power this thing, we're going to need something called energizing rod, which I actually already have. I have 3 of them. I could use more, but at the end of the day, for right now, this is going to be a fine amount on their own. So then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make ourselves this thing right here called the energy cable. There's many different tiers to this, but I can do the hardened one at most. So we're going to first need to make ourselves these basic capacitors, and then we can go ahead and then convert those into large basic capacitors. Then after that, we can go ahead and then combine that to be able to make a hardened capacitor. I only am going to be able to use one of these, which is fine. So then we can go ahead and make ourselves these energy cables. There we go, and that actually gives us another quest. Hopefully we can get some things from this that can be useful. Not that many things, but we did get copper seeds, so, you know, that's useful. Either way, though, now we are going to need to set up a small area for this. I only have 3 energy rods, so I'm only going to need to use 3 of these spaces, and even then, only one of them is the hardened level. Depending on how high your cables are and your energizing rods will depend on how this thing goes. But we don't really have access to the highest tier 1 just yet, so it's going to be a little bit of ways away, but we will get it. And then after that, we can go ahead and then just put the energizing orb right there. And these things should all be linked to this. We can go ahead and make ourselves this wrench, which should allow us to see what is all configured to this. So if we shift look at this, okay, they are all connected. That is good. We're just gonna need to make ourselves another flux point, so that way we can go ahead and then power all of these things right here. And now this thing will be powered once all of its stuff is needed. Will energy actually flow into this when it's needed? Okay, yeah, energy is flowing in here, and the more that each of these has, the faster this thing will go. So, in order to make the nitro crystals, which is what we're going to need, we're going to need 2 blocks of redstone, 1 nether star, a block of blazing crystal, and 20,000 FE. To get the block of blazing crystal, we need 9 of these blazing crystals, and to get those, we're going to need either 4 blaze powders or 1 blaze rod. Alrighty, I have done the math, and it would appear that... What the... Yeah, I know my time in a bottle is glitched, but it would appear that the most cost-efficient way was going to be to turn them into blaze rods. So now I just need to wait for those things to fill up because A, it's more power efficient, and B, I only need 27 blaze powder versus the other one which would have taken 36. So this is basically just the easiest way. I just need to get all these things full of power. Does disabling the limit make it any more? It doesn't look like it does. But yeah, no, this is just gonna take me a while. The nitro crystals are gonna take forever. I'm going to need 32 of these reactor blocks. So that's gonna be me making this thing a couple of times, which is why after the first attempt for the nitro crystals, I'm going to use 4 of them to be able to make the seeds, which is gonna be an insanium level. So I'm gonna need to hopefully get that one going. Actually, how much insanium do I currently have? I have 4. Okay, that is actually really good. Okay, neat. So I'm gonna get all of this ready, and then we're going to make the block, and then we're gonna get everything we need for the nitro crystal, which will most likely take forever. I could probably go and eat a whole Thanksgiving dinner before it's done. Oh my gosh, it's gonna take me so long.
Much later.
Alrighty, here we go. They're all done. It took me about like maybe 45 minutes or something, I don't know, but it has been quite a while. But now we have all the nitro crystals that we are ever going to need, because now we can go ahead and start plopping these things in and then making ourselves the seeds. And while this is going, let me ask y'all something. Are you subscribed yet? If you haven't been, you'd better be doing it right now, otherwise this face is going to appear to you in your dreams. Unless you want it, in which case, it will only appear to you in your dreams if you subscribe. Trust me. This face knows the difference between those who want it and those who don't. And if you want it, are you going to get it?
FBI should be knocking on his door any minute now.
But only if you subscribe, of course. So then, now that we have ourselves these nitro crystals, I moved the power pot over here because I'm going to need this thing to process about 9 times because this gives me 16 each. So yeah, it's going to take me a little bit to get all the ones that I'm going to need, but I only am going to need 36 of these things in here. And I'm gonna need about 2 1/4 stacks of nitro crystals in order to make it all happen. On a side note, my energy core has filled up completely, so yeah, there we go. However much 273 million OP is in FE, we have that, and more, because, you know, we also have the things in there storing some more, so I have a lot of power. Although it is kind of reaching a point where it's kind of iffy just for me actually having this thing on now. So yeah, it's probably gonna be a necessity. And there we go. That should be all that we need. So then we just need to go ahead and then coalesce all of it together. And really? There we go. So now we should have everything in order. And there we go. Now we have ourselves everything that we are going to need. So we're going to need to find this thing, its little area. Let's go ahead and build that right here. And there we go. It's starting to build. Yes, so the way that this thing works is you don't actually have to set it all up. You just need to have all the blocks in your inventory. And then with that little area, you can find where it all needs to be. So now we have ourselves the reactor nitro. This is probably the safest reactor in this whole mod pack, in all of modded, really, because as far as I know, this cannot blow up. And I think I want this to be on auto mode also. And the way that this works is that when the reactor is full, it will stop producing energy and it will only start again when it's less than 70%. So it's actually really good to have. So then now that that is done, we're going to need to go ahead and grab ourselves some fluid pipes. Just 2 should suffice. And then we can go ahead and then connect this thing to this portion right here. And the reason we're doing this is for coolant. Now, it needs 2 forms of coolant. One is for fluid coolant, being water, and then the other is for solid coolants, being different forms of ice. Now, the strongest one that you can get is one called dry ice, which minus the degrees by 32 Celsius, which is pretty good, but for right now I only have blue ice, which is going to be minus 17, and the way you get dry ice is by taking 2 of the blue ice and then putting it into here, and with the cost of 10,000 FE, you get yourself a dry ice. So, it's not terribly expensive. I just won't really be able to do it at this moment because I don't have the power necessities. So once I get that part going, I should be able to like cycle all of it into it, and it should work out really, really well. So then now after that, we can go ahead and then put this exporter right here. This is what we're going to need. And then we're going to want to put inside of it this crafting upgrade right there. And the way that that thing works is like, whenever we have a recipe inside of one of these crafters, I've made these several times on the channel. If you have not seen how these things are made, either go back to a previous video or just look them up. But basically what they do is you put in patterns, which you can make inside of here, which have patterns for different crafting recipes. And so once you ask for them, it will auto craft them. So if I look up ice right now, there's a blue ice thing right here that says craft, and I can choose how much I want to craft. Well, with the crafting upgrade, when it goes into something that will need that thing, and it needs that to be crafted, and I don't have any of it in there, with the crafting upgrade, it'll craft it so long as I have these recipes. So it's really nice, and I also have a packed ice pattern, which is used to make the blue ice, and I use that from all of my essence. After that, I'm just going to need to go ahead and then connect some cables. Before that, though, I am actually going to want to get some things first. I want the uranite. And then I'm also going to want, what was the other thing? Right, it was the blue ice. So let's go ahead and ask for just one of those. And there we go, it crafts it. That's nice, isn't it? Also, if you request something to be crafted, but some things are missing, if you have recipes for those things, it'll also auto-craft those. So then we're just going to need to throw this into there, and then that one in there, and then that should be everything. It looks like there's another thing that's missing. Oh yeah, it also needs redstone and coal. I don't know what those things do for it, but I have those in abundance. So, like, if I need to add some crafting recipes for those things as well, I can, because I literally have the essences for those. They're not that hard to get. And these should all go into their own individual slots once I connect it up, because I don't think that you can put redstone in this one. Yeah, you can't. So it all has to be in its proper placements. So then let's go ahead and then hook this thing up, and it should start the generation. Yes, it is. Okay, so the uranite is going in there and it's generating the power. And the cooler it is, the more efficient the generation is, and thus it will stop produce, or well, it will reduce how much fuel is used, and we get more power for our worth. So it's gonna be really sick once I can get this thing up to dry ice, because then it'll be as cool as it possibly can. And now I can also go ahead and throw these things into here. I really don't know what these things do for it. Oh, so this is for production, and then this is for efficiency, and both those things increase the heat. I see. I understand what it is. So these things are basically like upgrades. It gives me how much it has, and then this thing is the fuel, and then these things are the coolants. Okay, I understand. So once this thing fills up, it should stop generating because we have this thing on right there. Yes, it is. So as far as I know, the only downside to not having coolant is going to be like, you know, this thing is just reduced in everything. It shouldn't blow up like other reactors. Yeah, that's actually really good. So then we can go ahead and then hook this thingy up to something complex. So now this thing will take literally the maximum amount of generation. And then that would basically be thrown into here as much as it can hold, which is quite a lot, actually. Holy crap. So it's actually started going back up. That's nice. Yeah, no, this thing's actually going up quite a lot. It's definitely doing more than I'm losing, which is really good, actually. So yeah, this is actually the highest tier of this. So once I convert this thing over to dry ice, it should do even more, which is sick. And the fact that this thing is still taking out energy means that this stuff is still generating, and it's quite a lot. And it's actually started going back up again, which means that the battery is most likely full. Even with the power pots going, it's still full. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll probably need more generations sometime soon, because I'm gonna need to start getting into like the point where I'm gonna start automating things, because like on a normal basis with other series I've done, they've lasted like about 20-ish episodes, so we're well over that original halfway point. Obviously this one's going to end up lasting a lot longer because there's like a lot more stuff that we can do and a lot more stuff that will need to be done, specifically for like all this endgame stuff, which is gonna be, it's gonna be a thing. And then there's also just like other mods that like really won't help me all that much as far as I know, but at the very least we will still be able to progress a good ways through it. Of course, now that we have all this going, I feel like fusion crafting and stuff like that we'll be doing over there will definitely be a lot easier now because we have a better power generation. And, you know, once we get back into that, I'll be upgrading these things. So yeah, that's gonna be like really, really sick. So then all that's really left to do is to just collect everything. Oh my gosh. Dude! That's Pretty good, actually. Okay, I got another jetpack, though, which I really don't need. I got squid seeds. Yes, come on, give me more of the seeds that require me to kill things to get them. That process was super duper annoying. I got gas. Oh, right, I didn't actually mention that again this time because my original recording got cut out, but I actually got some new seeds. One of which was the gas tier seeds, so that way I can actually get some more gas tiers, which means when I need to fight the Ender Dragon again, I will be able to do so. It's gonna be real sick. And I would love to go, like, to the end and do all sorts of that stuff, but, like, there's just been so much stuff that I've needed to do because, like, there's a bunch of things going on. So I think next episode, we're going to try and explore the End Farlands, because I did find that portal and I just haven't done it yet. So we'll be going out there to do a few things. We'll probably expand some more on Draconic Evolution, and that is going to be really fun. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last Oceanblock video. Bye-bye!